Happy Tuesday. I love it. I love it. I love it. I have lots of energy, lots of love, feeling the red today. Valentine's Day is Sunday. Love it, love it, love it. Welcome back tonight to another Love Shouldn't Hurt. Super excited as per always to have you guys here. It's another great Tuesday, my favorite day of the week. I love welcoming all of our guests, our audience, and everyone who always comes to the show. We want to recap you on what happened the last time you saw us on the screen. It was an emotional but amazing evening with just amazing, amazing teens. Let's give it up again for our girls on our panel. They rocked it. I was so proud of those girls. They were super awesome. We spoke about domestic violence through the eyes of the youth, and we had an all-female panel of girls. It was amazing, and look forward because next month we will have same topic, but with a panel of young teenage boys. It's going to be amazing. So guys, tonight we are talking about el amor. Today we are talking about not love that's given to you or love that surrounds you, but we are talking about self-love. The love that I believe is the most important love. And let me tell you, it took me a long time and a super, super long journey to love myself. And tonight I am joined by someone who's super duper important to me, who actually has gone through this self-love journey with me for the past few years that we've known each other. So she was the perfect person to come on tonight because she is probably one of the most people who have always screamed at me, yelled at me, and told me about myself with love, about how I should be worrying about myself and self-love. So before we do that, folks, let's remind everyone why we are here. As per always, if you are dealing with any form of domestic violence, whether you feel it's physical, emotional, any sort of domestic violence, remember that you can reach out to our hotline. You can reach out to the National Domestic Hotline at 1-800-799-7233. As per always, you can reach us at www.loveshouldnothurt.com or any of our social media platforms so that you can require help. Remember, do not be fearful of reaching out to 911. If you choose to do so and your abuser is around, remember, you can order a pizza. You can ask for customer service. There are trained individuals on the other line who will know exactly what questions to ask to help you accordingly. So tonight, I bring on a super special guest to me so that we can speak about self-love. And that amazing, beautiful guest is Jessica Narvaez, one of my great, great, great friends who is going to come on tonight. And we're going to talk about our own personal journeys through self-love, but we're also going to talk about the journey she's had with me. So I welcome you, Jessica, to the show today. Happy to have you back on with us. Hello.
Hi. I'm so excited. Thanks for having me on here.
Look at us. We're matching with our red. That was not planned.
No.
But we vibe like that.
Valentine's Day.
Woohoo! El amor. So Jessica, before we get into our topic, please, please, please tell us about yourself. Who is Jessica Narvaez?
Oh my God, where do I start? No, I'm just kidding. I am a mom of 3 beautiful children, married to a wonderful man. Currently, I work in education, but I do have a little side hustle right now for financial coaching and a YouTube channel. That's just a little snippet.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. And a YouTube channel. And what's your YouTube channel about? Because we're going to highlight that later on. But what is it about?
Yes, it's teaching financial literacy to our minority community.
Awesome. See, you're amazing. You actually did that with us, right? We already spoke about financial abuse and things like that, and you were helpful. So if anybody's watching and they've, are avid followers, you've seen Jessica before. So today's topic is super, super important today because Jessica has been through this journey with me. So while we're going to speak about self-love and each of our own journeys, Jessica has sat literally by me for a long time and has told me, Chrissy, self-love, self-love, self-love. You have to love yourself first. And I had very, very big difficulties with that. Have I not, Jessica?
Yes, it was so hard. I was like, I think at one point you was like, I don't know what that is.
Absolutely, right? I think I was so clouded by all the stupid things that I was letting control my mind that it was blocking where I could love myself. So people constantly talk about, my boyfriend loves me, my husband loves me, my kids love me. And those things are super, super important. Absolutely, right? That's how you go through your day-to-day life because, we fill our cups every day by that love and that appreciation we get from people. But the most important type of love, which I learned the hard way, is self-love, because there's no way that we can love our families, our children, our counterparts, siblings, whoever, without first loving ourselves. So I have a few questions to kind of get us rolling into this conversation, but it'll come easily for you since you've been here with me. So before we do that, I found the comment that said self-love requires a relentless pursuit of acting on your own behalf, plus taking care of yourself even when it's hard.
Yes, self-care.
Self-care, definitely. That's something that's super important too, right? Because when we're lost in the feeling of not loving ourselves, we don't take care of ourselves. We don't brush our hair. We hardly get any sleep. So self-love is super, super important. So we each can talk about our journey through self-love. But before we do that, let's talk about my journey here and how you were so
Yes.
supportive with me. So Jessica and I, a little background about us. Jessica and I met through a party. We'll say that. We won't say what type. We were having a great time, and that's how we met each other. And as crazy as it seems, 2 weeks later, I took on a new job at a new school. And when I got my desk, it was like literally connected to hers.
Yes.
And it was like,
Faith.
didn't I just see you 2 weeks ago? It was kind of crazy way how we found each other. But at that point, and when I say immediately, I mean we immediately clicked. Like I was loud, she was loud. It was like a perfect match.
I was like on the cover loud.
You were. I was my normal superstar loud, like, hi! And you were like, shh, we're loud, but not right now.
Let's leave work first.
Yes. Right. But with getting to know one another during that time, you also, little by little, as time went on and we would spend more time together, you started to learn my journey. You started to learn about my previous abuse, learn about how bad I felt about myself. And, we were together all the time. I would go to her house. We would do things together, go out together. We would laugh all day at work. We were inseparable. And no matter how much we laughed and joked and took a million selfies and drove our bosses crazy, there was always something that was lacked within me. And that was something that you realized early on, right? So tell me, what was your initial impressions of me when you started to see and kind of feel what it was that I was acting?
I would say at first would be the negative talk.
Mm-hmm.
So be like, I don't like my teeth. Like that was one of them. I'm like, girl, you fine. And then it'll be something else. And you come up, I can't, I don't like this. And I was just like, you need to stop. Because whatever you speak into life, it's just gonna stay there. That's that negative talk. So I was like, no, you gotta say that you love this and you love this, so that you can bring it out of yourself. Right. But it was just like, it was the number one thing was the negative talk about yourself.
Absolutely. And then, besides the talking, then I started dating.
Yes. And then, yeah. And then I said that was like the second thing was like, and then accepting how you were being treated.
Absolutely.
And I was like, I think at one point, we were having a conversation, and I was like, what do you want? Like for yourself? Like, what do you want out of it? But I think at one point I don't think you were sure, right? You were just trying to get love from somewhere.
From somewhere, right. More from outer than from inner, right? So I didn't see the love in myself, so I was trying to get it from whoever I was with. Mm-hmm. I wanted to hear it from them that I was beautiful. I wanted to hear from them that my body was perfect and that I looked good. Because to me at that time, unbeknownst to me, I thought that that's the love that I needed to feel good about myself.
But it was only from a relationship, because if I would be like, you beautiful, what are you talking about? It was like, man, that's not what I want. I don't want to hear that from you.
Absolutely. You're my friend. You're supposed to say that.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And I think that's the journey that a lot of people take with one another, whether they're abused physically, whether it's sexual abuse, whether it's any form of abuse. I think that that's the journey that a lot of people go through. They have so many things about themselves that they don't like, and they go through these different forms of trauma and unlove, and they take on those personas, because we can hear 1,000 positive things about ourselves, but when we hear something, negative, that's what we take in.
Yeah.
That's what we take in. And I want to say this, people, and everyone that's watching, and I see you, Ray, Angela, Carmen, Gabriella, Charlotte. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Jessica was very key. She was a huge key in my journey of self-love, because as she watched me deal with these toxic relationships, she gave me tough love. She saw me every single day, and she wasn't always nice.
I'm sorry.
I know it came from a loving place. But, there was even moments where we had lunch and she'd be like, we need to have a conversation. And would pull me in the room and be like, listen, I'm your friend, but I'm sick of it. Like, I don't want to hear it anymore. I don't want to hear about him. I don't want to hear about his ignorance or how he mistreats you, because if you're allowing it, I don't want to hear it anymore. Until you begin accepting positivity, I don't want to hear it anymore. And I think that at first I was very standoffish. I didn't accept that. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
I was
You
kind
had
of,
an argument at one time
yeah,
because
yes, I made excuses for it
mm-hmm.
often, right? And I did that with everyone, not just you. I did that with my little sister, with my best friends, with anyone who was trying to like wake me up, because that's what I say. I was in like a trance, stupidity. And I finally woke up out of it. And then we went through those changes together. I stopped working there. I
Mm-hmm.
moved on to where I work now, and it still took time, right?
Yeah.
And then I would say maybe like 2 years passed, not recently, but 2 years had passed. And I saw her and I told her, I love myself, girl. I'm good. I'm cured. And she was like,
I was like, whatever, girl.
you lying. You lying. There's no way at all. You lying.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was because I loved you so much. And even though I wasn't around you, I just wanted you to believe. Because that's something that we do, right? We want to like please everybody around us. And we still don't see that, like, that's not the point. You need to love you. Like, who cares what this person thinks, what that person thinks?
Yeah.
It's about you. And I think that I still lied and was like, yeah, I'm good, girl. When I knew that I wasn't, because I just wanted to know that my friend would still be there and wouldn't look at me in a different light. But then let's circle back to this year. Well, not this year, it's brand new year, it's been a few weeks. Last year, 2020, the end of 2020, I came to visit you and I told you I finally love myself. And what was your response?
That I've been waiting years for you to say that.
She believed me this time.
Yeah.
She believed
So
me.
I felt it more than the last time. I definitely felt it more.
Right. And I think that only because I finally felt it for real, so I could say it without trying to make up an excuse behind it. Or say, I love myself, girl. Don't you see what I do here? Won't you see what I do there? And didn't realize that you knew right off the bat that it was crap before. But when I said it this time, it was like, damn, she means it this time. And I do mean it. I think that I've come a very long way. I think that finding self-love within ourselves has been like a very important thing for us. You did not deal with domestic violence, but you had a lot of things that you have suffered through, trauma within your past and things like that. And we've all been there. So tell us a little bit about your journey through self-love tonight.
Journey through self-love. Where do I start? I feel like a lot of things start like with youth, right? So because either parents could belittle you or you have young friends and you're trying to compare yourself to them and things that happen. But for some reason, I don't know, I think with my parents, like they lectured me all the time. I had strict parents, so I wasn't really allowed out much. And if I was out, they were like, you're only going to this person's house and that's it. But my dad was like, always made sure that I protected myself, I guess. Like, he would teach me like, all right, you got to fight like this and you got to do this. You got to stand up for yourself. Somebody hit you, grab the closest thing next and hit them. And I think with all the lectures and with all of that, I kind of like, all right, he wants me to be a leader type of thing. So I never been into the position where like I hated myself. But with like everything that my parents would drill in my head, I was always in a position where I'm not going to worry about what other people think of me. So throughout years, I've always been that way. It was like, I don't care what you say to me. Cause there was like instances in school where people will, talk to me and like call me names and stuff like that. Like I remember being called Michael Jackson one time because they said my hair, and I was like, whatever, you just hating. You like my hair, and that's it. It's like, so like I always like went back at it. So I've never had like that issue of I hated myself. So anybody did say something to me, it was I kind of like rolled it off. And I'm grateful for that because obviously that could lead to other things. But throughout the years, when you're getting older, you start getting insecurities. You're like, oh, but I'm not shapy like that girl over there, or why my hair, is like this, or why am I breaking out and she's not? So I kind of dealt with those type of insecurities growing up, and
Which are like typical teenage feelings and how you feel as
Yeah,
you're becoming an adolescent.
yeah. So I went through those things, but nothing like anything serious where it's like, ooh, I don't like me.
Which is different from, which is different from you're being invited to Bomba Live. Look at that. which
I'll
is
be there.
which is super different from mine, right? So we have two different standpoints.
Mhm.
I spent most of the majority of my life not loving myself
Right.
and kind of taking in what people were saying, the outward comments and negativity of you're
Yes.
not enough, you're not pretty enough, or what I instilled in myself. But on your end, what was instilled in you was to not take it. So you were opposite. So when people would say that, you're like, I'm cool.
Yeah.
You didn't take it. So that's, the difference between the two of us because I made that who I was.
Yes.
Their visions of who I was is who in turn I believed I was. Hi, Chrissy Zayas. We see you. Thank you, Jessica, for buying our book. Thank you so much. And I think that speaks volumes in the person and the people that we are now. And I think
Yeah.
that it's tremendous because I think that my self-love journey has been such a difficult journey throughout the years with my abuse and all of my abusers telling me that I wasn't good enough and that I wasn't pretty enough and that my teeth were ugly and that I wasn't thin enough, that I took that in, I accepted it, and for me that was it. That was who I am. And to now know that I'm not defined by that is kind of like a weight off of my shoulders, like I always feel like, I don't know, what should I do? We have a comment coming from my page. So someone on my page is asking, do you still have trouble loving yourself when life gets rough? I have to be honest because we're transparent. I have
Mhm.
moments. I will not say that I have trouble loving myself completely on a day-to-day basis because I think I love myself a little too much sometimes now. I,
You're like, yeah.
I see myself in a different light. I do. I see
Mhm.
myself in a different light. And I think that for years, all the negativity that was spewed towards me that I accepted, now I look at and I'm like, absolutely not. Like, that's totally opposite of who I am. But do I still have trouble? Definitely. When life gets rough, we definitely, and I think, Jessica, you could say the same. We have those moments,
Mhm.
like she said, you see certain people who are with you in your circle and they're thinner than you, or they work out more and they're more shapely. And you look at them and you're like, Diablo, I wish I could look like that. I wish my abs would grow in. So I have minor things to that degree that
Yes.
would make me feel that way. But on a day to day basis, I think I feel fabulous. And I can say that with like total positivity that, yeah, I think I'm a totally different person.
Yeah. And then the thing with self-love is that, if you have trouble with that, it's not going to change overnight. It's a
Absolutely.
process.
It is.
It's a long process.
It is a process. And look, for me, it took years for me to be able to finally say that.
Hmm.
5, 6 years it took me to say that. But I think it's definitely something that they say it's what you grow through what you go through. And I have grown in the past few years. And I could say honestly, by all the people watching, you guys have all helped me through that journey as well, because Love Shouldn't Hurt has been therapeutic for me in so many ways. Being able to help people and kind of see them in that different light and hear what they have to say kind of makes me feel like that's the way that I used to think. And look at her, she's beautiful, which helped me to realize that. Jessica says, what advice you give a woman that has low self-esteem? So I'm going to let Jessica, since I keep talking, answer that first, and then I'll give you my answer to that, Jessica.
Okay. I think, like I said, I feel like it's a process. So I feel like someone who has low self-esteem is going to have to just take baby steps along the way. Whereas, affirming something every day and putting it on there, making sure you get up in the morning and you're like, okay, let me affirm this today. Self-care. Like self-care is so important. It's okay to put you first.
That's right.
Like you have to put you first, because if you don't, then you can't love on other people.
Yes.
Right? That's your love. So self-care, like exercising, journaling, reading. Sometimes it's cleaning, because if you see a mess in the house, that could irritate you, right? Like, so I feel like it's a process. Being healthy, right? Trying to think what else could be. What you got?
Well, I think, like you said, I'm going to back. You said affirmations. That's something that I definitely never practiced before, and it's something now that I practice with myself, even with my daughter, and just finding something positive. And even in the videos, if you watch any of my Facebook, lives, when I go on live, sometimes randomly in my car, always finding one positive thing Whether it's that you wake up in the morning, whether it's that your hair is looking good that day, or you have on an outfit. I spoke to someone recently. We had lunch together, and she said she went out one night and she was like, you know, those times when you get dressed up and you look at yourself and you're like, damn, I look good. And you know you look good. Like finding one positive thing. When I speak of affirmations, um, she gave me a calendar and it has something positive for every month. So I think looking up online, there's so many resources online. Looking up a positive affirmations, maybe website that you can kind of jot some down. And listen, you've seen them in movies, taking post-its. I will post it on my refrigerator, on my mirror in my bathroom, just things that you know that you would need to hear. I'm beautiful. You're gorgeous. You are worth it. You are special. And just looking at those things every day and replaying them in your mind because life knocks us down. Let's be honest. We have days where we don't feel great about ourselves.
Right.
But if you constantly remind yourself, I am good enough, I am worthy, you start to, like I said, you grow through what you go through. You'll start to believe it. I'm telling you, my journey was not one day to the next, and Jessica can affirm that. It took
I was
years.
like sending you stuff every day. I was like
Yes,
sending you quotes every day,
Bible verses.
Bible verses. Yeah.
She was constantly. I mean, we had offices next to each other, and she would every month change the Bible verse in her office, and I would write it for her on her board.
Hmm.
And they were always positive, and she would make me read them out loud. Just having even that, what we're doing right now, find your person.
Yeah.
Find the person that's going to fill your cup when you're not feeling like yourself. Someone that's going to remind you that you're beautiful, that you're worthy, that you're phenomenal, because some days we don't feel that in ourselves. So we hear it from people who love us. Because sometimes what we're hearing, like I told Jessica, was the negativity that's being spewed at us, that we're not fat. I mean, that we're not thin, that we're fat, that we're not good enough. So find your one positive person, even if it's one person that you can get that from. Jessica put up another comment. Alicia says, we all have our days when the ugly monster, low self-esteem, taps on the shoulder. Just got to get through. Absolutely. We have days where, you know, we wake up and we're just like, oh, I'm not pretty enough. I'm not good enough. But you have to go through that. You have to fight through that. Isa says, relate a circle of accountability, partners that will reinforce the positivity in you as you will to them. Absolutely. Like I said, Jessica is amazing with that. She was my person. She was my person, and my best friend was my person, and Michael Mai was my person, and my sister. They were constantly feeding positivity to me in what I didn't believe in myself. Jessica says, hard to put me first when I'm a mother that's home taking care of her kids and I'm cooking and I'm cleaning all day. I was that girl back in the day that everybody wanted, and I gained so much weight now. I'm like, what's wrong with me? Jessica, Jessica, Jessica. We've all been there. We've all been there. We're all mothers. Jessica's a mother of 3. I'm a mother just of 1, but I get it. I have to make sure her schoolwork's done. Make sure there's food on the table.
Can I respond to Jessica?
Yeah, go ahead. You go first.
I am a mother of 3, and it's not easy. Working full time and then have a side business and then cooking, cleaning. I'm fortunate to have a husband that helps with things like that. However, even if it's 15 minutes a day, like either get up, like be 15 minutes sooner than the kids do, or a half hour, or even after you put them to bed, even if it's like a nice bath. Because sometimes I'll be in the shower and I'll just put some music on. I just like just to relieve stuff. Before I go to bed, I read a book and I just make sure 15 minutes. Like even if it's just 15 increments throughout the day, just to get some time, anything helps. Anything. And Isa, who just, I have my phone over here. I'm looking at the comments at the same time. But Isa is great as well. She is my, like, if I need to hear somebody spiritually, yo, that is like my spiritual sister right there. Like, that's my girl.
Yeah, you know what, Brent, you said it. I said it. Brenda also wrote it down there. We all need a person.
Yes.
I definitely think that you all need a person. Jessica Rodriguez Lynch, but the kids, put the kids to bed, take a nice warm bath with some soft music, like Jessica said. If you like wine, drink a glass of wine and make that your me time. It's a start. Absolutely. I know that we all go through those moments. Just got to get through those days when faith and prayer. Absolutely. We all get through those moments that we're so down on ourselves. We think there's no coming out from it, but there's absolutely ways that you can start. She says you do great with this. Ray Velez made a comment. We were going to put big comments at the end, but you guys are involved, so let's do it now.
Keep it going.
Right. Many of my friends who are mothers always say they get lost in doing mother duties or being a wife or taking care of the home, that they lose themselves in their happiness. What do you think that they should do? I agree, Ray. I mean, I'm one of those people. I'll give myself as an example. I had a visit to the ER last week, which ended up having me on medical rest for 7 days. And I had to just lay in my bed. And though I did not want to just stay laid in my bed and I wanted to get up because I have a little girl that I have to take care of, I wanted to be that person that was like, I don't care what the doctor said, I'm going to get up and do whatever. But the fact that I finally took that moment to lay and not do anything, it gave me the opportunity to sit down and write inside of my journal. It gave me time to read a book that I just ordered that I never even looked at, which is a positive book as well. It gave me that minute. So, Jessica, even if you take 5 minutes, I don't care how long it is, if you go to the bathroom, I'm crazy. If you go to the bathroom to poop, you need to make that your moment. Make it your moment. Go in there with a book or go in there with music. And even if you're not doing anything, listen, poop with the lights off. Close your eyes. I'm crazy, right? Close your eyes and talk to God in that moment. Talk some positivity into the air or ask God in that moment to give you the peace that you're seeking and that you're looking for. Go there with the camera.
I honestly, like, because there's so much going on, I have to have a schedule of every day of my life. And I schedule in, okay, if I wake up right now, so I have a prayer room. I go in there, sit in there, even if it's 15 minutes, or if I don't make it in there, I make sure I schedule something out throughout the day. So it's not, it's not easy. But even if you can, I don't know if you can get up earlier. I dread it sometimes too, but but it's just a little bit, just a little earlier. Or start off small, 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Jessica Rodriguez, I'm replying to your bigger comment. I try to do that, but I have so many medical issues that it's hard for me to even get 5 or 10 minutes to myself. Lucky that being my daughter's father and I are getting along and we're back together, but I always say to self, I want to look beautiful. So here's my response to that. Like Jessica said, sometimes we got to wake up a little bit earlier. And if anybody knows me,
you don't like
I hate waking up early. It is the epitome of death to me. Like, I hate getting up early. But when we were physically able to go to work, I got up early because I wanted to look good for work. Like I look like this every day to go to work. Makeup, hair. So I did that. Force yourself to wake up, even if it's 20 minutes. Easier said than done. My sister Arlinda, she says easier said than done. Absolutely, I know that, and that's why we said baby steps. And what I'm saying, Jessica, even if you wake up 15 minutes earlier than your kids do, flat iron your hair, put on some makeup, even if you're not leaving the house. Take baby steps to make yourself feel good. Sometimes I get dressed and I'm not even leaving the house just so that I can feel like I look pretty today, because I'm tired of my pajamas. I'm tired of just sitting around and doing nothing. That I get up earlier. People won't believe me. And I'll do that and look nice just so that I can feel good. So I know that these are all things that are going to take a process for us to get there. Mm-hmm. But little steps are what got me to where I am today. I spent so much time letting the negativity of being a little bit overweight, being unhappy, my teeth not being great, people telling me that I wasn't good enough, feeling like I was worthless. That is what I took in on a daily basis. And I can say that for the majority of my life, that is who I believed I was. And I have only finally said, oh my God, I love myself at 40 years old. So it took me a long process to get where I am, a very long thing. Music can change your day. Blast that ish and dance. Yes, when I'm cooking in the kitchen, my music is loud. You are so welcome, Jessica. We can't give you things to fix you, but we can tell you small tricks that'll take you and keep you on the route that you need. So we're at the 30-minute mark. I want to remind folks, as per usual, as we do at this time, we are here to help you. But if you need more help, visit the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233. Visit us at loveshouldnothurt.com and all of our social media platforms. Before we continue with this conversation, we have a video that I want to play for you all so that we can kind of see from another perspective what we need to do. Jessica, pay attention to this video, mi amor. This video is for you. Let's throw that video up.
We can be our own worst critics. It's hard sometimes to look into the mirror and see the good in yourself when everyone else around you is telling you there is none. In order to achieve your greatness, know that you are the only constant in your life. It's impossible to achieve your goals and reach your maximum potential if you continue to try and be what society says. Love yourself enough to just be authentic and unapologetically you. Make a list of the things you like about yourself and the ones that you don't. Begin to embrace the things you don't just as much as you love the ones you do. Don't ever try to find validation in others. Find it in yourself. When loving yourself, your sphere of influence may change. There may be people in your circle who are voluntarily or not contributing to your demise. Get rid of them. Those people that are cluttering up your life aren't serving any purpose besides keeping the space that could be given to someone who cares, is useful, and is contributing to your well-being. You only need people around you who are helping you to grow, period. Sometimes you just have to cut people off out of your life, not because you don't love them, but because loving them stops you from loving you. Let it go. Those who have hurt you have already moved on while you are still hurting over it. Yes, while what they did was painful and you have every right to be upset, the pain isn't stopping them. It's only stopping you. That person's not worth you having one sleepless night, nor are they worth you losing your peace of mind. When you don't let it go, it creates a blockage in your mind, potentially stopping you from reaching your greatness and maximizing your potential. So let it go, so you can grow. Love yourself enough to let it go. Worry about loving you instead of loving the idea of other people loving you. The choice is yours. Will you continue to try and live up to society's standards? Or will you love yourself so much to the point that your energy rejects anyone who doesn't know your worth? Love yourself.
Absolutely.
That was
Love
beautiful.
yourself. Jessica, I saw your comment and I will send that to you most definitely. I think that that's a part of our learning process because through the process of learning to love myself, I had to learn to let people go. I had to learn to just enlighten my circle and only keep people around me who loved me and wholeheartedly loved me. For years, I kept on to relationships, to friendships, to just different people who just did not fully love me. People who would prefer to see me more unhappy than to see me happy. And I think that Jessica, is another thing that you can do. Remind yourself of who truly is for you and who is against you, and remove the negativity from you because we cannot go forward if you continue to surround yourself. My grandmother used to always tell me all the time, dime con quién tú andas y te diré quién eres. Tell me who you're with and I'll tell you who you are. You have to surround yourself with people who are going to love you just as much as you love yourself, because if not, you will never see any positivity in yourself if you're constantly feeling negativity spewed at you. I want to remind folks that Jessica has a YouTube page. This phenomenal lady on screen can be visited on YouTube at her YouTube page. Let's put up her YouTube. Jay Narvaez, look her up. She not only is a phenomenal mama, wife, and friend, she is also super, super, super wise about finances. If you need any help and you feel like you cannot get your finances straight, check out her YouTube page. Go and subscribe to Jessica's page tonight, because I think that she'll be able to help you. I also see in there she told someone, if you need anything, let her know. Reach out to Jessica. She is on Facebook. She is on Instagram. She was super, super key, I'm telling you, and my self-love. So she is an amazing person. Jessica, a few questions here about self-love. Let's get some questions here that I looked up.
Oh, okay. Wait, before we get in there though, let's talk about those toxic people. How do you feel getting that weight lifted off of you?
I think that's an important part of the conversation, right?
Yeah.
You know what? Like I said about loving myself, it feels exactly that. It feels like there's a weight. I don't have to walk on eggshells anymore with what I say. I don't have to worry about the things that I say being offensive to anyone, because the people who surround me know what I'm about. They know what I do. You know, when I put up workout videos, they're not saying no one cares. No one, they don't see that it's a part of my motivating other people or or just trying to keep people like, listen, I'm doing it. You can do it too. When I stop and I can't do it and then I jump back on the wagon, yes, I put my videos back up again. So you see, I fall off, but I get right back on that horse every single time I fall off. I think it's super important. Ray says it's like going to the bathroom, just jump it out. Absolutely. No, see, we laugh, but it's the truth. I think we hold on to people that weigh us down for so many years because we feel like we have to for different reasons. And when you grow up, you know, my sister's watching. My oldest sister used to tell me all the time, I have all these friends. And then whenever we would get into disagreements, my sister would say, how many friends I got now that I'm older? How many people can you, thank you, Jessica. How many people can you truly like, who can you like look to for help?
She's
Are
right.
all those people always going to be there? No,
She's
they're
right. I
not.
like your sister.
My sister's awesome. She's like my mom. She's like my mom. She's like my second mom. Christina, you're an inspiration. Thank you so much, Jessica. I just think that, you know, you grow through what you go through and you grow up with people or you grow through friendships and even bad relationships and you accept and tolerate just stupidity for years because you think that's all that's there. And when you finally let them go, say that again?
Because you've known them for so long, so you feel like you have to keep them. But
absolutely, you feel like you have to, but it's like, listen, family members, friends, relationships, whatever it is, if it's bringing you down, Jessica, my sister left you a comment there. If you feel like they're hindering you, let them go. As Medea says, let them go.
Let them people go.
Bolly says, whenever I see you on the video doing the big ropes, it makes me laugh. That's all right, as long as it's a positive reaction and not a negative.
We talking about these? Is it?
Trying to work the muscles, Bolly. All right, so let's give you one of these. I want to give you a good one. Give you
a good question. Okay.
What rules or conditions can you release to love yourself even more?
What rules? Stop comparing yourself to everybody else's filter, please.
Listen, we're talking about in general, not me.
No, I wasn't talking to you. Hey, don't take that personal. That was in general. A lot of us just think we're on social media all the time. People are posting pictures traveling, posting pictures of their body, you know, and all these things. So we look at them like, man, you know, I don't have money to travel. So we're comparing ourselves right there, right? Oh man, but they're skinny. But you don't know that is Photoshop. So like a lot of things is just, you know, that stop comparing yourself.
Absolutely. That's a good one. That's a super good one. Because you know what? I'm always transparent, right? So a few years ago, I had, you know, a moment and I was looking at my Instagram and I ran across someone that I haven't seen in years. When we were in high school, she was like I love her. So hopefully if she's watching, she's not offended, but she was like the ghetto one, like the one that was like the big hoop earrings and whatever. And now she's like that. She's a nurse practitioner. She's doing amazing things. Her social media is just like she's traveled around the world. And I was crying. And I sent my sister Michelle a message and I was like, oh my God, so-and-so is doing so good. I feel like such a failure. And my sister wrote back and she was like, really? That's social media. It's not all it's cracked out to be. Just because her social media looks like she's doing amazing does not mean that she's living this fabulous life. So shut the hell up and stop worrying about what she's doing. And it was like, all right, damn. But that's what we do. Like we compare ourselves to other people and these lives and these personas that social media has. And we're like, she's doing great. Like people only are going to put positivity on social media. They're not going to put that they got their lights turned off that week or there's no heat in their home. They're going to put when they look fly and they went out for their birthday and they got their hair done. But you have no idea that they cried last night. You know, people are like, oh my God, you go out all the time. And I laugh because I'm like, I really don't. But I'm going to put up positive stuff when I'm out. And that's what you're going to think. But the majority of the time, I'm sitting on that sofa. And I'm watching Jane the Virgin with my daughter. Like, you know, I'm not out all the time. But I put up only positive or fun times. Sometimes I put up pictures that have taken place months ago that I never posted. But that's what people see. They see your social media and they think, oh my God, this defines them. So that is key. Don't compare yourself because you have no idea what people are going through. Just because their social media shows a pretty picture does not mean that they're
Mhm.
living this amazing life. So stop, stop, stop
Stop.
comparing
And
yourself.
then that goes into stop self-sabotaging.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Yes. Ray Velez, what is your comment? Let me see. I have recently learned that asking for forgiveness, even if the person does not accept it, you were doing it for your own love and health. That's another way of self love.
Hmm.
Absolutely
Yep.
on
That's a good
point.
one.
On point.
That's a good one.
It's an amazing one, right?
Mhm.
People, go ahead. I'll let you say your point because I talk.
Well,
I
I
can
was going
talk.
to say, he brought up forgiveness, and I feel like that's also for ourselves.
Mhm.
Like we need to forgive ourselves for anything, for shaming, for
Yeah.
accepting stuff that we
Oh,
shouldn't.
yeah. Absolutely. For myself and for other things. Now, people tell me all the time when they hear of my abuser and they hear my story, and when they hear things. Someone recently needed their brakes done, and I referred him, and they were like, "You talk to your abuser?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And even family are like, "I can't believe you talked to him." And I get it, I do, because he trashed me. He made me look like trash to the world. I had a lot of misery, but I had to get to a place where I forgave him.
Yeah.
And I forgave him a long time ago. And even when him and I have spoken about it, he's like, "You did?" Because in everyone else's mind, it's like, how the heck can you forgive a person from that? But I didn't do it for him. I did it for me. Because the more I held on to that anger, when I see him, I'd get emotional and angry.
Hmm.
When I hear about him, I'd get angry. And I was like, I have to forgive him and let this go. I don't got to deal with him no more. We don't sleep in the same bed. He's not around me 24 hours a day. So I could care less who you are or what you do because you are not of my everyday life. But I have to forgive you so that I can move on and absolutely forgive myself for tolerating his stupidity, tolerating his abuse, and everybody else that I've tolerated it from. So that's absolutely true. Self-love has so many things. We could talk about this forever because people are like, but how, but how? There's so many things that one can do in a day to
Yeah.
work on one's self-love.
So I had like similar situation. Obviously, when I lost my son, I blamed God for it, the doctors and the nurses, and myself. So at that time, it was just like I dealt with hating them for about 3 years until I finally forgave them and I felt free. Like that was just like a release.
All those burdens can weigh so heavy on someone. It's just, it could take over your everyday.
Yeah, they sure did.
It did. So, another question. What do you need to be more at peace with yourself?
At peace, meditation.
That's a good one.
At peace. You have to value yourself, know
Yeah.
your self-worth, um, and be yourself and not be sorry about it. Just be you. Like I like to be being crazy, have fun. I don't care what you think. Like that's
Absolutely. So here's another one. And these questions are for you. Anyone that is watching, these are questions that you can ask yourself. These questions allow you to say, oh my goodness, the answer is what's going to help you through this journey of self love. This question is, what am I holding on to that isn't serving me anymore? And
Mm.
I think that one is definitely a major one. So if you're listening,
Mhm.
take that in. The question again, ask yourself this: what am I holding on to that isn't serving me anymore?
Mm. Do you have that right now?
Me?
Mhm.
My question to that, my answer to that is letting go of those toxic relationships, whether they're boyfriend and girlfriend, friendships, family, whatever it is. I think I held on way too long, like I stated before, to relationships. I'll say relationships in general because I felt like that's what I needed.
Yeah.
And the only way that I was able to move on and be happy with myself was letting them go. So, everyone that heard that question again, what am I holding on to that isn't serving me anymore? Anybody that's watching, ask yourself that question because whatever the answer is part of what is keeping you from loving yourself completely. Marilyn Del Valle just put up a comment. I'm learning to follow your heart and do what makes you happy. And don't worry about what others have to say. You don't need validation.
Yes.
Absolutely not. Yes, two slaps and a clap with that.
Mhm.
Brenda, to be more at peace, you have to remove all the negativity in your life, including people.
Yes.
Absolutely. I think we've said this throughout. We have to start to remove negativity so that we can only let in positivity. They always say all the time, and I say it to people too because I have friends, I have counterparts, I have people around me who I have seen go from one relationship to another, to another, to another, to another. and like there's no space in between. Kind of like those memes that it's like, he's the love of my life, and then they say, well, how many lifetimes have you had? Because this year I've seen like 10 people who've been the love of your life. We have to take a moment, especially people that are watching that may have been in relationships. Take a moment when you're done with these toxic relationships. Don't look for someone new to be with. Don't look to be in anything or meeting anyone. Take a moment to think about you and what's going to make you love you. Because I always say to people, you can't love anyone else and they can't love you unless you love you first.
Yep.
And it took me so long to realize that. And I think that everyone watching, it's a touche for all of you. We all should think that. If I don't love me, no one's really loving me, because how can they? No, we are an example. Let's say that we give people the example of how they're supposed to treat us by how we love ourselves first. And that's big, because I absolutely did not like myself and I didn't care how I was treated. So I let people do whatever they wanted, however they wanted, treat me whichever way. And that is what ultimately killed me. It killed my self-esteem, because everything that they said, I embedded in my brain, and I've lived my entire life that way. I'm 40, people, and I only woke up a year ago. So this can be a long process, but happiness is attainable, and happiness is attainable in yourself, not in a relationship, because that should come secondary. Find it in yourself first.
Self-love and happiness are created. It's created.
Absolutely. And you are the person holding that wand. You can do it for yourself on a daily basis. So before we close out, because we are already almost at the 50-minute mark, I think it's been an amazing conversation, as per always. Ray Velez has a question for the audience. Can you look at yourself in the mirror and say, I love you, and mean it?
That's a good question.
That's a good one. So that's another question. I hope everybody that's watching has been jotting down the questions tonight. I should have said that at the beginning, that was your homework. Jot down these questions and answer them and give me these answers on a follow-up show. Can you look at yourself in the mirror, say, I love you, and mean it? That's an amazing question. I say I do, because I do when I look in the mirror. I mean, how could I not? Not about you.
You gotta be right. Nobody's perfect. No, not
Never.
one person here is perfect, and we all make
No.
mistakes. So it's normal. It's baby steps.
Jessica says, thanks so much. I really needed this. Jessica, you're absolutely welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight. I hope that we were at least beneficial in making you feel a little bit better. Remember, baby steps to self-love. So Sunday is Valentine's Day, people, which I think is overrated, because you should love everyone and everybody around you and yourself every day.
Yeah. I do it the whole family. I don't do it just me and my husband.
Oh, yeah. I give my daughter a gift every Valentine's Day to make sure she feels loved, because I want to instill that in her every week. So people, if there's one thing, Brenda Ruiz says, I love me, and I mean it. And I can hear her saying that, because my girl got a lot of energy too. If there was one thing that I can ask of all of you this Sunday, which it should be every day, but because that's the day that they say is el Día del Amor, ¿verdad? If there's one thing that you can do, the biggest thing I can ask you to do is when you wake up on Sunday and every day after that, find one good thing in your day, as I always say on my lives when I go live all the time. Find one good thing in your day and hold on to it. Make sure that it helps you get through your day and you can remain positive. And find one good thing in you. Even if it's just your eye color, or your lips look good that day, or your hair looks good, find one good thing, because self-love is a process and it starts with you. Jessica, give us your closing remarks tonight. I'm going to give you I'm going to leave the floor, leave you by yourself. Give us your closing thoughts about self-love tonight.
Okay, I got the floor. Self-love. Take it step by step. Okay, small baby steps, whether it's 5 minutes, whether it's just 10 minutes, or even if you can get a journal and each day write in the journal what you're grateful for. Call it a gratitude journal, right? And put your affirmation in there, and put kind of like what Christina just mentioned of how you feel about yourself today, and just like do that each day, and just a little extra self-care, 5 minutes a day. Don't forget to forgive you, right? And make yourself a priority. A couple minutes a day. That's pretty much it, though. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful, as per always. We're going to send you to the green room. Stay there. We will be back I am going to give my closing thoughts. Hopefully, you can all see me here. My Wi-Fi is acting a little crazy. My final thoughts for everyone, as per always when I get on here, I constantly remind folks to be positive, be brave, go out and tell yourself every day that you're amazing, you're phenomenal, and you are worthy. These are things that I lacked for a super, super long time. I stopped telling myself that I was good enough. I stopped telling myself that I was worthy and that I needed to love myself because I thought that my friends had to love me, that my boyfriends had to love me, that the people around me had to tell me every day that I was beautiful just so that I could feel it. And even at times when they told me, I still didn't believe it because I had so many years of people telling me that I was ugly and that I was fat and that I wasn't worthy. That is who I really thought I was. And only, people, only just last year did I finally learn that Christina, no matter who she is an amazing person. She is a single mother. Yes, she is, but she rocks that job. She goes to work every day. She inspires kids. And even with this entire mission of love shouldn't hurt, I have been able to help so many women, which has given me a purpose and has taught me that all of those horrible, nasty things that they said about me for years, they were wrong. I am beautiful and I am worthy and I am so capable of being everything that I choose to be. So if there's anything that you take from our show tonight, know that no matter how many things are put in front of you, no matter how many roadblocks, no matter how many negative thoughts are being spewed at you on a daily basis, close yourself in that bathroom and remind yourself you're the shit. You got this. And if today's a hard day, you have another day tomorrow that you're going to open your eyes and you are going to be phenomenal. I hope that you guys on here watching tonight have felt some sort of love from Jessica and myself. And I hope you continue to feel love. Remember this self-care, self-care, self-care is super duper important. You have to take care of yourself before you can take care of anyone else. Love on yourself completely. I love you guys. So, as per always, at the end of all of our shows, we have to look forward to what next week will bring us. So, we always talk about different things within domestic violence and we talk about different experiences. But next week's saucy topic will be dun, 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 with Amanda. She will be joining us again, and it is can the abused become the abuser? And people are like, what? What does she mean by that? What do I mean by that? We have so many times when we have gone through trials. I love you too, Annie, my other sister. We come on here and we talk to women who are abused and they talk about their experiences and how they went through domestic violence and how it has affected their future and who they are. Next week, we are going to tell you how you being that abused person could affect you. Maybe you're violent in your new relationship. Maybe there's things that make you overreact and throw things and throw plates and just make you go crazy. We're going to sit down again with Amanda Peguero, who is our licensed professional counselor, and we're going to give you all kind of like viewpoints on what it is to be that person. You can be abused, but can you turn into the abuser because of that abuse? One more time, I want you guys to remember to visit Jessica. Let's put up her YouTube page so people can see the face they're going to see when they go to that YouTube page. Visit Jessica on YouTube. Make sure that you see her. You visit her page. This is Jessica's YouTube page. That's what it looks like. That's what you're going to see. Visit Jessica. Visit. She is a positive, amazing individual. Make sure that you see her. Before we close out tonight, I want to remind you guys, men, if you're watching, be mindful of the women that you're with. We all have a past. So we're going to bring Jessica back and we're going to close out with a quote that was sent to me yesterday that I want everyone to see. Jessica, how you feeling at the end of our show tonight?
I feel good. I hope everyone took some tips from us. And if they listen, if you need extra help or if you need accountability partner, we here.
Absolutely. Thank you again for always being such an amazing guest. I love you for being my accountability person. We have another big comment that came up from Teresa Olmeda. Before we close out, I want to make sure we get everyone's comment. She says, so happy for you, Christina Vega. I love her. You have come so far and have accomplished so much. Be proud of yourself and your many accomplishments. Thank you, Teresita. I love you too, babe. I appreciate all of the love that you guys constantly give. Christina Zayas, you ladies are awesome. Love you. Thank you, Chrissy. We appreciate you being here. Everyone that was here tonight, my sister Arlinda, my god sister Annie, everybody that is watching, you guys are phenomenal. We're going to close the show tonight with a quote that was sent to me yesterday, a quote that all of you should be watching, especially if you're men and you're watching tonight. Be mindful of the women that you date who have been in domestic violence relationships. We all have a lot of hurt and a lot of pain, but it comes from places that we never asked for, that we never wanted. But that's who we are, where we came from. But remember that, love on us. Give us that extra love that we need so that we can remember that we're amazing people. Have a good night, everyone. We're going to come off the screen and we're just going to put up that comment, and that's how we will end our show tonight. Thank you, guys. See you next week.